Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Smackdown review. Of course, this is going to be a review of this past Tuesday's edition of Smackdown, which was July 2nd. And before I get into the review, I hope you all had a good 4th of July yesterday. Hope you all had fun, did some stuff, barbecue. Basically, I didn't do nothing. I was just basically catching up with some stuff. So that was my 4th of July. So didn't really do anything. But let's get onto the SmackDown review. This SmackDown was from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, and this SmackDown was a shit show, in my opinion. This was a garbage show. SmackDown, I've been saying, SmackDown is starting to become Monday Night Raw 2.0. Every single week. Just nothing great, happens on the show. So let's get started with the SmackDown review. So SmackDown opened up on Tuesday with the Kevin Owens show. Kevin Owens came out. He introduced his guest, who was Shane McMahon. Shane ends up coming out. Drew McIntyre ended up coming out alongside him. Of course, when Shane gets in the ring, Shane ends up letting Greg Hamilton, do his intro for him. The whole best in the world, the annoying ass best in the world intro. So Kevin Owens ends up showing a clip of what happened on Raw, where when The Undertaker came out and McIntyre and Shane were in the ring, Undertaker made his way out, and then we saw McIntyre and Shane ended up retreating out of the ring. And so after the clip was over, Shane ended up saying that he's not afraid of The Undertaker, and that The Undertaker is just another name for them to run through. Shane ends up saying that he ran through The Miz, he ran through Roman Reigns, and that they are going to run through Roman again. And that they're going to add The Undertaker to that at Extreme Rules. So Shane ends up telling McIntyre that the match now at Extreme Rules will be a no-holds-barred match. So McIntyre ends up talking about how they could take them in a normal match, but their match is no holds barred. So it's going to be a vicious, McIntyre says it's going to be a vicious physical assault like no one's seen before. So Kevin Owens ends up playing the clip again, and he says that McIntyre looks a little afraid of The Undertaker. But, he says he knows he's not afraid. So out came Dolph, it should have been me, Ziggler. Dolph ended up coming out. Kevin Owens ends up screaming to Dolph for him not to come down. Yelling that, how it should have been him, because everybody is sick of it. And Dolph ends up saying to Kevin Owens that he should have been the WWE champion. Here we go again with the "it should have been me." So Ziggler ends up telling Owens that he belongs in a hot dog eating contest. So Kevin Owens ends up retaliating at Dolph, saying that, he would win, that Owens would win the contest, which is more than Dolph can say. He says if he wants a title match, Shane is right here and can decide who gets it. So Shane ends up saying that neither of them deserve it, but they can team up to wrestle Heavy Machinery tonight. And the winning team, the winner of the match, will be added to the SmackDown Tag Team title match at Extreme Rules. And it will be a triple threat match at Extreme Rules. So that was how the segment ended, but very blah segment. This segment went on for 20 minutes. Shane is getting more time than any other superstar on the roster. And that's a problem. But like I said, this whole segment was just blah. Did not give a shit. Then we had Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. They were getting an interview backstage. Daniel Bryan complains about, the math involved in facing the New Day in a triple threat match, and that he and Rowan are vowed to leave Extreme Rules still as the Planet's Tag Team Champions. So that was that. Then we had the New Day. They were interviewed backstage. There's a lot of interviews with the SmackDown, to me, in my opinion. It's just interview after interview after interview. I'm like, you can give us, more matches to fill a 2-hour show. I'm like, whenever there are so many, backstage interviews, it's like, this is laziness. This is laziness by WWE. That they can't give us, some other matches to fill a 2-hour show. I mean, that's just me. But the New Day, they were interviewed backstage, and they ended up pointing out that the tag title match, being a triple threat, stacks the odds against them, and they're going to take back what's rightfully theirs by kicking in the door and becoming the SmackDown Tag Team Champions for the 6th time. So it was a short interview from the New Day. Then we had the first match, Daniel Bryan versus Big E. This was a good match. Good, decent match. Very entertaining, in my opinion. Daniel Bryan ended up winning the match. Running knee to Big E. So Daniel Bryan ends up winning the match. Overall, decent, good match. Decent, good TV match. And then, we have another interview. R-Truth was being interviewed about losing the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 Championship to Drew McIntyre, the Drake Maverick. So he was being interviewed by that. He ends up saying that at first, he doesn't want to talk about it. And he says, "Oh, I've been on a honeymoon." And then he mentions that he heard that Drake Maverick was in town. And that his message is to Drake Maverick is that he's coming to get back his title. Like I said, like I've been saying, keep the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 Championship on social media. When it's on TV, it's crap. It's shit. It's a fucking mess. Keep that title on social media. Do stuff with that title on social media. Keep it off fucking TV. Then we had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They were backstage. And Alexa ends up telling Nikki Cross to host a moment of bliss, a moment of piss with Bayley. So she ended up letting Nikki Cross do that. So then, when SmackDown came back from the commercial, Nikki Cross comes out, hosts a moment of bliss. She ends up welcoming the guest, who was Bayley. I mean, Bayley was just a guest on this like 2 weeks ago. The same shit. But instead of Alexa, we had Nikki. So Nikki Cross ends up defending Alexa, and Bayley was not having that because Alexa was like, "Oh, why have you been lying to about Alexa?" Bayley ends up saying that Alexa is the liar, and that Bayley ends up telling Bayley ends up telling Nikki that she doesn't have to do her bidding, Alexa's bidding. Nikki ends up saying that she's not doing Alexa's bidding. She's just hosting her show. She thinks it's unfair how Bayley ends up dragging Alexa's name through the dirt. And Bayley says, what's unfair is that last week Nikki beat Bayley. Nikki beat Bayley on SmackDown last week. And last night on Raw, this we talked about on Raw, Nikki ended up beating Carmella. And, she was saying, so why is Alexa, wrestling for the title at Extreme Rules and not Nikki? Nikki says she doesn't know, but she wants a match right now against Bayley, to which Bayley ended up accepting. So then we had Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Quick match. This match probably went on for like 9 minutes, 10 minutes top. Bayley ended up getting the win. Bayley to belly on Nikki Cross. That was that. Then we had Mustafa Ali. He was he was cutting a promo. He had a promo video. He talks about how kids are told how their name defines them, but he's the one that's going to change that. He says after he becomes WWE champion, and the ring announcer that says his name, that'll change minds. So it was a pretty decent video promo from Mustafa Ali. I just hope that they don't treat it like Aleister Black, where Aleister Black has been cutting the dark room promos for 3 months already. I hope they don't do this with Mustafa Ali, and have Mustafa Ali just do video promo after video promo after video promo. I mean, last week we had first video promo from Mustafa Ali. Then we had Kofi Kingston make his way down. He was followed by Samoa Joe. Kayla Braxton was in the ring trying to interview, I guess, the both of them. But Samoa Joe ended up rushing Kayla Braxton out of the ring to avoid collateral damage. So Kayla Braxton made her way out of the ring. Joe ends up telling Kofi that was an act of generosity, of benevolence, something that Kofi is very familiar with. Joe says every time the New Day are given championship opportunities, his boys offer him up because Kofi is their guy. And that the game recognizes the game. Joe ends up saying some hustle with fear, others with charisma. And he says Kofi goes around like he's everybody's friend. But truth is, he's just using them. He says in a couple of years, he wouldn't be surprised if Xavier was reduced to hype man and Big E to his butler. So Kofi says he'll say it again. At WrestleMania, he beat Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship by himself. I'm like, who forgot about that? We all didn't forget. WWE, is thinking that we forgot how Kofi won the WWE Championship. I mean, we all saw it. And they're still going on. They're still milking this. And he goes on to say, at Stomping Grounds, he beat Dolph Ziggler by himself. And at Money in the Bank, he beat Kevin Owens by himself. And he says, Samoa Joe will be no different at Extreme Rules. So Kofi says, what has Joe done by himself besides losing the United States Championship to Ricochet? And he says, but if he's honest, he has sympathy. He almost feels bad. So Kofi ends up saying to Joe, what happened to the old you? What happened to the old Samoa Joe that would take all comers? Corners. Oh, man. Can't talk today. What happened to the old Samoa Joe that would take all comers instead of sneaking around playing hide and seek? Joe says that's what he's talking about. He says Kofi's always ready. So slick. Pandering to these mindless idiots that think he cares about them. Kofi says the part where he insults his family, but he gets it. He knows what he's doing. It's because Joe is jealous. And then he ends up saying, oh, jealous Joe, which leads the crowd to chant, jealous Joe. He says he gets it. He'd be jealous too. Because, be honest, he'll never have a moment like he had with his kids at WrestleMania. Joe says it doesn't matter how often he comes out here and says it. He says people love their willful ignorance. So he's going to prove Kofi isn't who he says he is. He says he's going to do it simply by asking Kofi to shake his hand, to prove that he recognizes that the man standing before him is the next WWE champion. And so we have, Joe reach out his hand for Kofi to shake it. And Kofi extends, his hand out there. And we're like, oh, what's going on? Why isn't Kofi shaking Joe's hand? Turns out Kofi starts smiling. And he ends up giving Joe the middle finger. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, people are going to be like, oh, that's not PG. Well, apparently WWE is moving away. It's trying to move away from being PG, from what I heard, because they want, the teens to watch the product again. So that's from what I heard. They're trying to do away with the PG. So after Kofi ended up giving the middle finger to Joe, and Kofi ended up hitting the Trouble in Paradise to Joe. That's how the segment ended. But it was a good segment. Not perfect though, not great though. But it was funny seeing Kofi flipping off Joe with the middle finger. But yeah, that was kind of cool. Then we had Heavy Machinery, Ostovic, Tucker Knight. They were being interviewed. Tucker ends up asking Otis to show what went through their minds when they got this opportunity. And Otis, vibrates like mad for, a beat. And Tucker Knight says Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens have 18 titles between them, but they've never won titles together. And they say they have a lot of respect for them but they're not a team. And tonight, to the way they see it, Dolph and Kevin Owens are going to implode. And Owens ends up saying they're going to get the titles because they're coming. So it was a decent interview with Heavy Machinery. I love Heavy Machinery. They're one of my favorite tag teams. The crowd is behind them, and they deserve, the SmackDown, the next to be the SmackDown tag team champions. They're just very fun. They're a fun tag team. Then we saw Bobby Lashley. He was checking in from his hotel, and he gave us an update of how he's doing after the previous night on Raw, where him and Braun Strowman went through the LED wall. And Lashley says that he's hurting, but Braun Strowman got what he deserved. And at the next time he sees him, he's going to send him somewhere worse than the hospital. So apparently this feud is still going to continue between Lashley and Strowman. Then we saw Andrade. Then we had Andrade Cien Almas versus Apollo Crews. I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, I understand. It's good to see Andrade back after the family tragedy that happened while he was doing a Super Showdown. Glad to see that he's back. My thoughts and prayers go out to him. So Andrade ended up getting the win. Hammerlock DDT on Apollo Crews. I mean, come on now. If you see Apollo Crews, you knew Andrade was going to win it. So Andrade Cien Almas end up winning the match. Then we saw Kevin Owens. He wanted to talk strategy with Dolph Ziggler. They were in the other locker room. Dolph ends up saying to Owens that he wants to do everything himself. Owens says he wants to be honest. They haven't had a great track record separately. But, he says maybe Shane has a point in teaming them. So Owens says they both are pretty good on their own. But maybe they could be something. And that, it's worth a shot. He was like, oh, what's the worst thing that can happen? Dolph ends up telling Owens, fine. Just go out there, be professional, and they'll win. So they both end up shaking on it. Dolph ends up, snarking about hot dogs. And Kevin Owens ends up coming back. And he's like, be cool, man. So that was that. Then we had Aleister Black. He was in the dark room. Of course, another Aleister Black dark room promo. Been cutting these promos for 3 months. Hasn't even competed in a match since. He's just been cutting these promos. Can we get this guy in the ring, please? So Aleister was saying no one was there when he answered the door last week. But he applauds whoever knocked, because they're fighting on a spiritual plane now. Aleister says at this point, he cares little for his reveal. Only for him showing up, and where. Which he says, at Extreme Rules. For if they shall fight in the heavens, they'll fight through the 7 layers of hell, and if they were to meet in purgatory, fighting they shall. So that was the Aleister Black. That was the Aleister Black promo. But let's get this guy back in the ring, please. Then we had Ember Moon versus Mandy Rose. This match, what more can I say? Short match. This match probably went maybe like 6 minutes. Ember Moon ended up getting the win. Eclipse on Mandy Rose. So Ember Moon ends up winning the match. I'm like, wasn't Mandy Rose supposed to fight for the SmackDown Women's Championship? And yeah, WWE threw that out the window. They dropped the ball on that. So Mandy Rose is like nothing now. Just still being Sonya Deville's tag team partner. Yeah, because WWE was like, oh yeah, we're going to give this big push to Mandy Rose. Then they dropped the ball on that. They didn't push Mandy Rose for Mandy Rose to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. What happened? Typical WWE dropping the ball. So then we see, after that match, we saw Shelton Benjamin. And I guess, interviewer was asking him who's going to win the WWE Championship. It sounded like Sarah Schreiber. But she asked Shelton Benjamin that, who's going to win the WWE Championship at Extreme Rules. And Shelton doesn't say anything. We just see him going, rolling his eyes like, it was like he was like that. And he just smiles at the end like that. And then he walks off. So maybe looking like maybe Shelton Benjamin is going to be facing Kofi. Maybe Kofi's next opponent for the WWE Championship is going to be Shelton Benjamin, which that would be pretty cool because Shelton hasn't done nothing. He's been off TV for almost a year. So I have to say, Kofi's next opponent is possibly going to be Shelton Benjamin for the WWE Championship. Then we had the main event, Heavy Machinery versus Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler, tag team match. The winner gets to go on into Extreme Rules for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It'll be a triple threat. And this match itself, it was a decent match. We had Daniel Bryan and Rowan out there. Also, Xavier and Big E were out there on commentary. All these guys were out on commentary, but the New Day, of course, had their commentary table with the pancakes on top of the commentary table. And as the match was going, the match had to be stopped because Xavier and Big E, they ended up attacking Rowan and Daniel Bryan because they were getting sick of what Daniel Bryan was saying on commentary. So ended up taking down Rowan. Daniel Bryan ends up kneeing Big E once again, and led to Rowan driving Xavier through the announce table to the New Day announce table with that iron claw. And so SmackDown went to commercial, and then when SmackDown came back from the commercial, the match had to be restarted. So it went right from there. Heavy Machinery, of course, very entertaining in this match. Like these guys. Kevin Owens and Dolph here. It was weird of them, teaming up. Towards the end of the match, Dolph Ziggler ended up super kicking Kevin Owens, and it led to Heavy Machinery winning the match. Ended up hitting the compactor on Kevin Owens, and so Heavy Machinery wins the match, and they're going into Extreme Rules to face, for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships in that triple threat, which is cool, which I like. I'm glad that Heavy Machinery is getting another shot. Then after the match, Kevin Owens ends up hitting the stunner on Dolph Ziggler. And Kevin Owens starts, going crazy, freaking out there. And that's how SmackDown went off the air. And we heard the crowd start chanting, one more time. I don't know if Kevin Owens stunned Dolph when after SmackDown went off the air, because they had to go right off at 10 o'clock. So, but overall, it was a decent main event. Glad that Heavy Machinery is getting another shot at the titles. And I would like to see them be the next SmackDown Tag Team Champions. But yeah, so anyways, that's it for my review of this past Tuesday's edition of SmackDown. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until next video, which today I will be seeing Spider-Man Far From Home. So that'll be the next video. It will be a movie review of Spider-Man Far From Home. Looking forward to it. So anyways, until that video, I'll see you all later.